Black Alpha Network. Home of Black excellence. Power to the people.
We were the pinnacle that all the other African nations follow. We are the most unique brand of Negro there is. And no matter how much they claim that we are savages and inferior that the white man put in their head, they follow us. And they follow us, and we are unique because we have gone through a process that makes us like nobody else. You see what I'm saying? We are unlike anybody else. We are the only people that have been made new. And whether you like it or not, we have produced the most innovative inventions, genius, and intellectual ability that's unmatched. Now, I'm not taking up from the African, and I'm not taking up from the people of the diaspora. But what I'm trying to say is, we have been at the forefront of running this stuff. That's just history. Because there's something in us in a transformation that we have gone through. No matter how damn degenerated we might look today walking around the ghettos or whatever. There's something in us that's unique.
Peace, world. What up? Black Alpha Network, thanks for pulling up. I appreciate it. Laser focus, getting to the bag as always, as we always do, as we will continue to do. Certified Black Society. You guys know right here, right now, real time, everything that's going on is all a reflection of us. We broke that down numerous times, but it keeps getting bigger and bigger every single day. And everybody keeps watching us more and more, and everybody keeps scheming and plotting. And this is what we do right here. We center this on Certified Black Society success. I get a lot of DMs and people tell me, we love you, Black Alpha, because you are positive about our success. You are positive about what we achieve, and you are positive about what we go through. Damn right. And that's what I want. I want everybody, anytime you down, you out, because we're dealing with a struggle. This is oppression. We are dealing with anti-black racism in an anti-black race war. And I want anytime you feeling any type of way, turn on the Black AlphaCast. Come on over here to the Black Alpha Network. We all family any goddamn way. It's all family. Hey, I said it since day one. This is a family. I don't know about anybody else's channels. I don't know about anybody else's Twitter space, whatever they do. All I know is everybody who is subscribed to this channel, all my day ones, all my riders, we are family. And we represent that. So anytime you feeling any type of way, come on over to the Black Alpha Network, and I guarantee you're gonna be turned up. You're gonna be ready to go. You ever listen to certain people? Like, you'll listen to a rapper like Nas. I love Nas. Nas is a great rapper. And Nas will speak, and you'll be feeling what he's saying. Nas makes you want to think. He's like a philosopher. You want to read a book and be like, okay, cool. You listen to Tupac Shakur. When you done listening to Tupac, you want to take everything you just read, everything you just heard, and go out and do that shit. That's what you call certified energy, and that's what I'm always centering, and this is what I'm always focusing on the Black Alpha Network, and that's why I appreciate 110% everybody who DMs me, everybody in the chat. I see everybody in the chat. Salute to y'all. I appreciate everybody when they hit me up and tell me that, yo, your energy and what you bring, that power, that is real warrior class. That is real representative of all the brothers, all the sisters, kings, queens, the goddess, and the gods. And I'm gonna always represent that whole family because I am one with you guys and you guys are one with me, and all together we unite the city and step to the world as a weapon. And it will always be that way, and we're gonna always ride. Two things: I'm gonna always inspire, and I'm gonna always bring that heat. My word. No man separate what we create. Remember that. No man separate what we create, and we have created something so special, something so strong that the energy is permeating through the whole planet. And it only happens that way if you are an exceptional people, and it only happens that way if you are family, and we are family. And I'm gonna guarantee you this, and this is my promise from the Black Alpha Network, and I've said it before, I will say it again, and I will continue to say it. I'm like that person that you know that is always gonna ride for you. That person that you know that's always got your back. That's who I am. Y'all know when you got a situation or anything going on in your life and you be like, that person ain't gonna ride, that person ain't gonna ride. I'm gonna call him, he ain't gonna answer. I'm gonna call that person, they gonna get back to me next week. But him right there, oh, he gonna ride. That's me. That's who I am. That's who I always be for any of my foundational black Americans, any of my B1s, and any of my certified blacks. When you go down the whole list of people that you see and you say they ain't gonna be there, they ain't gonna be there, they ain't got my back, they ain't got my back, I always got your back 24/7, and let's keep this thing moving. FBA certified BLACK style on their ass. Straight up. So, hell yeah, we're gonna have to deal with some trick bags. Hell yeah, we're gonna have to deal with the con games, and hell yeah, we're gonna have to deal with all these haters out here. Oh, and that's cool, because we handle them every single day. Every single day. We foundational black Americans. We ain't got no time to be walking around with our heads down, tucking our heads low, all that submissive and passive shit. Fuck no. That shit happened a long time ago and we got rid of all that. That's done, out the door. That'll never come back. It's time for us to stomp our feet everywhere we go, and it's time for the whole fucking world to recognize that when you FBA, we don't play, and if you step out of line, your ass is gonna get pushed the fuck out. That's what I'm about. That's what we represent, and that's what we gonna continue to represent, because we are building, we are working, we are shining, and we are grinding. Yes, indeed. But yo, let's get to it right now. Everybody knows foundational black Americans are always the center of attention. Foundational black Americans are always in the spotlight, because that's where the fuck we belong. That's where we belong. And everybody's out here right now trying to eat off of our plate. We speak about this all the time, and we break this down on the Black Alpha Network, and we name names. We name names, we name dates, we say it with our chest. All that vague shit, those people and them over there and who, where, why, fuck that. No, we put names on the line so they know directly who the fuck we talking about. So we know directly who the fucking op is, and we know directly who got smoke for foundational black Americans, because that's the only way you get things solved. As I said, this is the results era. This is results. We want results, man. All that 200 fucking years and wait until a better day, man. Fuck that. The better day is now. And if it ain't now, it better be tomorrow, or everybody gonna feel us. That's what we about. We need fucking results. So we don't have time to be sitting here talking in abstract, man. Fuck that. If your ass got smoke for foundational black America, I will spell your name out. I don't give a damn where you from, because my community, my lineage, and my heritage is too fucking important to be out here playing these coon games. See, they used to play coon games before. That's why we all got the dustpan, the mop, the broom, and we cleaning house. Have y'all noticed that? Everything we're doing right now is that we're cleaning the house and we're fixing all the mistakes that they made of the past. We all know what it is. It's well documented. We know about the fucking yesterday cooning. We know about all that shit. We know about the integration and the can't we all get alongs and the black and brown coalition. We know about all that shit. Everybody out here right now who is disrespecting us is only doing it because coons in the past gave them a pass to think that shit was sweet. It ain't sweet. It ain't sweet. Coming around foundational black America trying to eat off our plate, or feeling that you're entitled to our culture, or just taking anything from us and walking out the door, fuck no. The reason why they're running around here disrespecting our ancestors and talking down on slavery is because coons back in the day let them get away with it. The reason why they're running around here saying they created hip hop is because coons back in the day let them get away with it. The reason why they're running around here telling us quit representing your culture and getting some type of fucking attitude when we love ourselves is because coons back in the day let them get away with it. Well, certified black society's putting an end to that shit. Respect, respect, respect. You gonna put respect on everything we do, or your ass is going to get checked on sight. I got something I know y'all gonna feel. How many times do you see these people from other communities running around here just throwing around the N-word? How many times you see that? What up, my nigga? What up, my nigga? How many times you see that shit? Why does that go on, family? Because coons of the past allowed that shit to go on. That's the only reason. You got folks out here who feel they're entitled to that word, Fat Joe. DJ Khaled. Matter of fact, listen to this.
That's an interesting question, but I think people try to rewrite history now.
Yeah.
Right? So now you got young kids who found knowledge itself. They got a right to feel the way they feel because people mistreated black people, enslaved them for 400 years and all that. And they don't know no better. They reading their history or they making their things together. So they don't realize that Fat Joe grew up in the 99.9% black neighborhood, looking like a beetle, right? So it's not, what I'm trying to tell you is that it wasn't even my choice. When I was in kindergarten, before kindergarten, they were saying, what's up, Fat Joe? What's good? This. It was never even my choice.
Yeah.
Now that we're grown and we all these years later, we can think about it, wow, it's a bad word. But where I grew up, it was always used out of love.
Yeah. Yes.
And so, unfortunately, I grew up in this place where we use it like water. It's like It's like, what do you want me to do? It's like, this is what I've been called my whole life. I don't know no different.
Now let's listen to Cardi B, someone else who isn't black and tells you why she gonna be able to say it. Someone who brings stripper culture to the black community, dumps all that off on the black community. Y'all notice when she come around us, it's yeah man, I don't give a fuck, da 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 da. Same thing I was just talking about. Anytime it comes to some ratchet shit, they hit their black button. They turn their blackness on. And then whenever you see her going to the Latin Music Awards, she's on there, hi, I'm nice to talk to you, I'm Mrs. Santiago. Yeah, same shit, listen.
It's something that like, it's like a lingo. Like, even if I want to stop saying it, I really can't stop saying it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it seems like it's something that is so normal, which is bad, but like it is what it is. And if it comes to the fact that she's Latina, you know, like, my parents, my father's side, we're Spanish, we're Hispanic and everything. But it's like, where do them Spanish people came from? Where them Latina people came from? They mixed people, you know. We mix with African, European, mulattic, and everything. And it's just like, what am I considered? And at the end of the day, like, Latinos and Hispanic, they are considered a minority. Like, you think white folks see Hispanic and black people like, oh yeah, they're Hispanic, they're black. No, we are all considered the same to them. So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Do you see how these folks, man, wait. Let me tell you a couple things that are fundamentally bullshit about those two statements. First off, you can't tell me about my term and tell me why you gonna say it and give your own definition on why you gonna use that word. First off, okay? Second off, you're not gonna sit here and say somebody co-signed you for saying it. Cause whoever co-signed you, whoever's black and said that you could say that, they ass can get that work too. Alright, cause they not bigger than the community and they don't hand out passes on behalf of all of us. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that escort. I always talk about the Negro escort right here. The Negro escort is the brother who brings the damn W woman into the barbecue. It's the goddamn sister who brings in Zaddy to the barbecue. It's the one who always escorts somebody from outside the community into our community and nobody asked them to come. You feel me? And 9 times out of 10, when we start checking them, who the fuck is Karen and why she here? Man, y'all's tripping. Then they won't get tough with us though, right? Right? They'll be soft as hell. Becky, do you want a plate? Do you want a plate, Becky? Mama, make Becky a plate. Here you go, honey. Here's a plate. Don't worry about what they saying. Don't listen to them. They'll be real soft and real catering when it comes to Becky. But when it comes to us questioning why the fuck you brought Becky, then all of a sudden it turns into, man, we's be hating. It's really our fault now. We out here being racist. You know what I'm talking about? That's the Negro escort and the Negro bodyguard, and both they asses get G-check fucking with this. Yes, indeed. And that leads me to number 3. Number 3 is they always associate being able to say the N-word with the hood. You notice that? It's always got to be some type of ratchet behavior that allows them to say the N-word. If it applies to being a stripper, drinking liquor, smoking weed, going to the club every Friday, selling drugs to your own people, then they want to say the N-word. They be like, I'm from the hood just like y'all. That means I should be able to say it too. Well, you do know most people in the hood are just honest, hardworking people trying to live, right? Not everybody in the hood is ratchet. And that's the point. The reasons and excuses that they give you for why they should be able to say the N-word is basically them telling you how they feel about you. If being ratchet allows them to say the N-word, that's them saying that we're all ratchet. If being from the hood allows them to say the N-word, that's them saying that we're all hood. If twerking and going to the strip club is the first reason they give you why they should be able to say the N-word, then that's them telling you this is how we feel about y'all. It's always something ratchet and it's always something ignorant because that's exactly what they think about black folks. And a lot of black folks running around here handing out fucking passes. Yeah, go ahead and say it, man. Oh, and I don't want to hear about I have a friend. That's another excuse they give. Well, I got a friend now. I got 5 black friends. I should be able to say it, and all 5 of your black friends can get their ass ran off the block. That's coon 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 or all get their ass a G-check on site. And on site is how you got to do it. That's that pull up. That's that pull up justice. The reason why we love pull up justice is because it's direct. It's straight to the point. Because we understand nobody's going to come for foundational Black America. They're not going to give us any assistance. And at this point, we don't want it. We do for self. That's what it is when you're independent. When you're independent, you got to get money on your own. You got to build on your own. You got to grind on your own. And you got to G-check motherfuckers on your own. And as we said, this era, we're not really big on waiting. Waiting, fuck that. Waiting just causes problems and make problems fester. They get older and older and older, and motherfuckers get more set in their ways and more emboldened. All that ignorant shit that you ever see is because people have been emboldened because a lot of folks been waiting. Waiting is the worst thing you can do when you're a foundational Black American. They say patience is a virtue. Fuck that. We've been patient long enough. Where's my money? Where's my justice? If you will not give it, then I'm going to take it. Because remember, we're not from and we do not belong to a community that ever gets federal assistance. But what we do get is federal sanctioned anti-Black racism. That's what we get. So it's on us to create alternative means of handling ours. Pull up summer, pull up season, pull up justice is the main one. And we are the main ones who put it down. All of us consistently. All those yo-yo-yos, y'all know, Tariq talk about that all the time. All the hat cocked to the side and shit. You don't really see that as much as you used to. Oh no, that shit don't show up like it did. All that, what's up, dog? The Macklemores and the Iggy Azaleas and the Eminems, they don't come out like they did before because we have created an environment that is not comfortable for them. And remember, putting the message out there and just creating a zone, that means everything. Remember, not every single person has to lead the movement. Not every single person has to be on the top of the screen. A lot of us, we all contribute to an energy that creates change and creates movements. Trust me, energy will change shit just as quick as 1, 2, or 3 people's action. Oh yeah, trust me, it's called you know better. Yeah, you know that you know better energy? Oh, that gets shit done. Anybody who's thinking about trying you, they may see you and check your energy and be like, nope, I know y'all got it. Hey, foundational Black Americans, we may go out in public, we may smile, we may shake hands with people. We're very civil and very cordial with everybody. That's how we are. But we also carry this energy of, I wish a motherfucker would. I know y'all got it. Oh shit, I know y'all got it. That's just a part of FBA culture. We may be cool as fuck. We be the nicest, sweetest motherfucker that you ever met. Everybody can like us. But they also understand that line right there, you better not cross it. And trust me, that you know better, that I wish a motherfucker would energy stops people from ever trying to play you. They say, man, let me go get somebody else. Let me go over there. I was gonna fuck with them FBAs, but they look like they'll put a foot in my ass, so let me go fuck with them people across the street. That's that FBA energy. And this is what I'm saying. Our energy has created a lot of things. We are in the midst of getting actual tangible documentation for laws that we are presenting as a culture, as an era, because those old Negroes from back in the day, they didn't really accomplish nothing. They wanted a bunch of symbologies. Shit that you can reach but you can't hold. Things you can think about but you can't physically touch. Basically, a bunch of bullshit. We want tangible, actual documentation for everything that we put forth. And it starts with us permeating energy that lets motherfuckers know they better sign that shit. If you don't, there will be consequences and repercussions. There will be repercussions and consequences. We are setting examples to everyone, letting them know by using that I wish a motherfucker would energy. And it goes a long way. Prime example, our brother Marcel Dixon held a space the other day, and it was about basically Black folks getting on board. Black folks turning up, not asking, not begging, not waiting for somebody to come. Black folks doing for ourselves and making things happen on our own. It was a great space. It came on real early, so we all got our day started off, and the energy was heavy. The energy was heavy. There were some brothers and some sisters in there dropping real facts, dropping real game, and just motivating everybody. So, me being me, I had to call in and speak and just fill everybody in the room, man, and just let everybody know that I'm rocking with them. I got their back. We all side to side. We all eye to eye, and we all one big family. Because that's what we need sometimes. We need to see that when you move, you're not the only one. When you take that step, there's people behind you. When you put it all on the line, you're not alone. Other people will hold you down. I remember when Huey P. Newton went to jail. Well, I don't remember, but I remember studying it and looking back because I wasn't born yet. I remember studying and looking back on it. And when Huey P. Newton went to jail, they were holding him down. That's how the Free Huey campaign started. And Eldridge Cleaver, he got on television and said, we're not here to build monuments of Huey. We are not here to sing songs about Huey. We will go down with Huey. Listen to that. We will go down with you. The most realest thing you could ever tell a loved one is that I will go down with you. I will be the first one with you, be the last to leave. And that's what it's all about. We got to know when we take that first initial step and we ride and we hold each other down, we got a whole team behind us. It's not one or two of us. It's the family. It's the whole damn family. That's been the problem for so long. People are afraid to go on code because you put your neck on the line and don't nobody roll with you. You look behind you and you think everybody who's talking that shit is gonna be there, and they're not. How many times do you hear people run their mouth and say, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna make it happen, and then next thing you know, you go out there to do it and you look behind you and everybody that was running their mouth, everybody that's watching the movies with you, everybody that was talking all that shit on the internet, they're nowhere to be found. Remember the Nick Cannon situation? Nick Cannon came out and he was playing woke. Nick Cannon was coming out here acting like he was the most deepest black man on the earth. He started talking some stuff and another group came and it made him tuck his black chain. He went and tucked his chain and he ran. And the sad part about it is his brothers and sisters were sticking up for him. They were like, nah, bro, we got your back, Nick. Say what you say. Talk your talk. Speak what you feel, brother. We got you. And when we went on code for brother Nick, what'd he do? He tucked that damn chain. He apologized. And then he turned around and he started blaming the community. He started saying, man, it's my own people that's against me. No, your own people were the only ones riding for you. When that other group made you tuck your chain, when that other group made you apologize, when that other group put out a picture where you're sitting there being scolded like you in the principal's office, when that other man is standing above you and he's looking at you sitting down and you got your head pointed to the floor, foundational black Americans were rolling for you and you turned on us. That's why a lot of people do not have the courage to go out there on their own because it's hard to trust who's gonna roll. I'm gonna roll. I know my certified is gonna roll. I know all of you guys are gonna roll. I know foundational black Americans are going to ride. B1s are going to ride. And that's all it takes. And once you have that, things get done. So I called in my brother Marcel. Salute to that brother. Everybody in the room. Sister Reparationist. I cannot remember her whole name. Shout out to that sister because she was turned up. She was turned up like me. And if you turned up like me, I already know your level. And I like that. So this is what happened. I called it in. I gave some of that black alpha energy and I let the whole family know that I'm loyal to the soil, I'm loyal to the lineage, and I'm loyal to every one of y'all. Listen.
It's truly an honor when you get black by these coons. It truly is. Black alpha, you got it.
Hey, he blocked me the other day, man, and I was happy. I'm going to go ahead and tag that and put it up for everybody to see it. One love to everybody in the room. Real talk. Hey, shout out to you, brother Marcel. Shout out to everybody in the room. I love this space. I love this energy. It's good to start your day off with this type of energy. Real foundational black American, real certified energy. We need this. And this is the type of energy what we have to transmit to the world. This right here, a lot of black folks get lazy. They get laid back. They get real chill. They like getting on the internet and watching videos, but they don't like to take what they see on them videos and go out in the streets and duplicate it. That's what we need to start doing. Shout out to you, sister, the Reparations. I feel your energy. I mean, you got me turned up this morning, and it turned me up. Hey, because I wake out, anybody who know my YouTube channel know I wake out of bed on 159. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that all. And we feed off each other. Anytime we permeate this type of certified energy, we all feed off of it. And it makes everybody stronger. So we in the 11th hour, ain't no my bad dog. Ain't no I'm going to get to it tomorrow. If you ain't building, there ain't no tomorrow. That's how you got to view the world. If you sitting back tomorrow and you sitting back watching television, talking what you going to do, but you ain't going to do it, then you wasting the day. We have no time for wasted energy, no time for wasted motion. We need to make it happen. Translate truth to power in the real world. And in terms of handling things, we all know right here in this country that there are two different sets of laws. So that means there needs to be two different sets of justice. You understand? We need to create our own justice. And that's what everybody has to put in their head. Create your own justice. You have the law that they created for us, and then you also have self-defense. Brother Malcolm X always says that self-defense is not about morality, it's about intelligence. You know damn well what it is to protect yours. You know damn well what it is to protect yourself. We all got to make it home. We all got to make it home. I got people that follow me and people that I follow, and if I don't hear from them for a while, I might think something happened to them because we living in the anti-black race.
Right.
You know how many times you don't see somebody, you be like, damn, you don't know what's happening out here in this world. People out here getting, picked off, going to churches, going to the grocery stores. They following us everywhere we at. You got to remember, this is an anti-black race war. This ain't no pillow fight. We ain't out here playing patty cake. We're all in this room right now because we're talking about a lot of stacked bodies of black folks unjustly. This ain't no game. This is for real. Somebody won a game, they go play the Xbox or PlayStation. Right now, this is real life, and we need to be out here looking out for each other, building with each other. I think sometimes people make it complex. It ain't that complex. We understand what we need to do. It's a matter of do people want to do it or not. All of us warriors, sister warriors, brother warriors, we got to make sure we permeate this energy. And like Brother Malcolm X said, don't be scared to go into jail. If you was black, you was born in jail. And like you said, Brother Marcel, and I got to quote you on this one. They know they're scared. They scared of us. They know they are. They know they are. Let me tell you something in life. Black folks, being black may not help you get a job. It may not help you get a loan. It may not help you get some type of compassion. But I tell you what being black helps you at. It helps you motherfuckers know not to fuck with you. That's why they go. That's why they go pick out the softest target they can. They don't come after people who about that life. Understand that. So represent that. Hold that down to the whole family, and everywhere you go, let them know if you fuck with foundational Black Americans, you fuck with one. You fuck with us all. Anybody here, brothers and sisters? I got a brother. Okay, my mama used to tell us if you leave the house, don't come home without your brother. She didn't say come home an hour later. She didn't say come home 20 minutes later. She said if you don't have your brother with you, who you left with, your ass is not welcome back in my house. And that's the type of energy that we already had. You know what I'm talking about. You feel me? I salute you on that, sister. Big up to that. Hey, we out of time and we can't reverse time, so we got to make the best of this time. I salute that. I'm going to land the plane. I salute you, Brother Marcel, as always, my low country family. I salute everybody in the room, man. Y'all stay real, stay vigilant, put a boot up their motherfucking ass. Peace and love.
Thank you, Black Alpha, so much. All right,
Black Alpha. Let me find him.
We got he's right here in Savannah with us. We got.
You feel me? That's the type of energy that we got to continuously to put out in the world. That's why this FBA rally is so big. This is why our Twitter spaces are so big. This is why the new black media is so big, because now we can exchange notes. Now we can understand there's somebody on the other side of the country that thinks exactly like me. Now we can understand that our lineage is represented, our lineage is strong, and our lineage is solidified. Back in the old days, you were pretty much subjected to who you were around. And if you were around a bunch of coons and you had a bunch of Democrats in your family that voted and all those vote blue no matter who folks, you'll start thinking that everybody's like that. And they were not. Now we live in a world that is international. We live in a world where we have the advantation of technology, which allows us to communicate and to connect with one another. And that is exactly what we're taking advantage of. Do not let nobody tell you that the new black media, the black grassroots is not special. It is. And we're all riding on the front line of it. We ain't in the back line. We ain't one of the motherfuckers that march with Martin and they 17 rows in the back. No, we're all right here on the front line, ready for whatever, however, permeating that foundational Black American, yo ass know better, and I wish a motherfucker would energy. Oh, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. I gotta quote what I said on the Twitter space, and this is something I use frequently around my way. That is, and remember this, lock this in like a phone number, family. Being black may not help you get a job. Being black may not help you get a loan. Being black may not help you get any type of compassion. But one thing being black will always help you with, and that is motherfuckers know not to fuck with you. That is where being black will always be number one. Oh, trust me, they afraid. They know what time it is. You know it, we know it, everybody knows it. They know more than we know. That's why this is a system of soft targets. That's why they go after black folks who are children, black folks who are by themselves, our women, churches, grocery stores. Look at the whole list of anti-black racism, and all you're going to see is soft targets. When someone has to purposely, deliberately fuck with a soft target, that means they don't want to deal with the hard targets. So I tell everybody this, make yourself a hard target. How do you make yourself a hard target? Stay B1, stay on code, and stay about yours. If you do that right there, guarantee you they're going to skip past you and go to the next person. That's why all of our people have to stay real, stay strong, stay vigilant. I repeat that every single episode, and that's what we have to continue to do. Have each other's back, build with each other. This is why, as I said earlier, I center everything around Black American excellence. When black folks start walking around here with a defeated attitude and a passive attitude, all that does is replicate. That's why we had to get rid of all them old civil rights Negroes. They had to go. They had to go because they put out an energy to the whole goddamn planet, not just here in America. They put out a whole energy that you can come over here, do as you please to us, and we will forgive. Remember, every single time a black person forgives, it just puts a bigger target on the next black person. Trust me, everything affects everything. Anybody who tells you any different is a goddamn fool. If somebody comes out here and they harm one of us, and then the first thing somebody does is they forgive, or they go look for a settlement check, or they wants to bring them to justice, all that does is let the next person know, oh wow, we can do that to them? We can harm their children and they'll forgive us? We can harm their grandparents and they'll forgive us. We can take what's theirs and they'll forgive us. See, all that nice guy, Kumbaya culture, that shit has never worked. It has always failed foundational Black Americans. This is why it was very serious and very poignant that we got rid of all those old coons. They had to go. They had to go. I don't give a fuck. Kumbaya culture is dangerous. Let me tell you that, family. Kumbaya culture is very dangerous when you're an anti-Black race war. You don't have time for that. The only thing that we have time for is to work together, to build together, to grind together, and to replace the system of supremacy with a system of justice. That is it. Dr. Claude Anderson always tells us that we have to practice group economics. That is the bottom line. Foundational Black Americans, we've got problems that don't nobody else have. So nobody can compare themselves to us. Trust and believe. Do not walk around here and compare your situation to slavery. Do not walk around here and compare your situation to the Black codes and Jim Crow. No, it is not equivalent. We are on a different level than everybody. The same thing that makes us unique is the same reason why you're not going to compare yourself to us. The same strife that we've had to deal with is the same reason you're not going to compare yourself to us. We've all been living in an anti-Black race war and nobody else can say the same thing. Not like foundational Black Americans. Nope. So don't even try it. Anybody who even fixes their mouth and attempts to say some shit like that better sit the fuck down ASAP. Because our history and our lineage is completely separate than everybody else. Nobody is on our level, nobody's pushing the same line as we are, and nobody has the same history as us. As I say, we're all survivors of an anti-Black race war. No matter what your age is and no matter how old you are, you have survived it for that long. Therefore, nobody is going to compare. Hands down. The very fact that you even think you can compare to foundational Black Americans is disrespectful. And you better put some respect on it. That's the way I approach it. I'm sorry. All these people walking around saying, well, there were slaves everywhere. Everyone has slavery. We all Black. Racism goes both ways. All that shit is disrespect to our culture. Hands down. It's like if you deal with something personally and you've had problems in your life and then somebody who ain't deal with none of that shit tries to come to you and say, man, I feel where you coming from. That happened to me too. No, the fuck it didn't. No, the fuck it didn't. Never put yourself on the same line as foundational Black Americans unless you've dealt with the same thing foundational Black Americans have dealt with. And history has shown that we're the only ones. We are the only ones who have dealt with the things that we've been forced to deal with. We are the only ones who have gone through the things that we've been forced to go through. And we're the only ones who are still here, still grinding, still shining, still surviving against all odds. That is us. So no, nobody compares. I don't give a fuck who you are. You can go to the other side of the earth. Nobody can compare to a foundational Black American. Believe that.
Let me get my brother Black Alpha in here. Black Alpha be in these rooms dropping hot fire on some of the naysayers. What's up, brother?
Hey, peace and love, brother Tariq. As always, family, as always. To the point, man, I think Afro-Latino, that term to me is just like African-American or people of color. It's just another term that allows them to, take things from us and transmit it over into their communities. I look at it the same way as what they want to do is they want to play white for social status, and then they want to play moocher when it comes to us. And they walk around all day. And my question to them is, if they've created so much of our history and our culture, then how come they've never duplicated that in their home countries? That's, they say Afro-Latino, but the way I look at it is you got a lot of Afro-Latinos in Latin America. How come you never focus on them Black people?
Real talk. Exactly. Thank you so much, man. Real talk. Yeah, if y'all created all this hip-hop, where was the hip-hop in Puerto Rico before we done it?
And that same energy that all these people have when it comes to mooching off our plate or trying to compare themselves to us, they don't never have that same energy when it comes to showing us respect. You see, this is why we don't fuck with them. This is why we look at everybody side eye and real funny style. When it comes to having the energy from stealing off our plate or trying to compare your situation to ours, because remember, according to the Democrats, according to America, according to everybody, foundational Black American struggle is comparable to abortion, it's comparable to immigration, it's comparable to the Ukraine. Has there been any war in the last 60 years that they didn't compare to foundational Black Americans? Are there any groups out here that they don't compare their struggle to us? Now, if you ask these people directly, do foundational Black Americans deal with racism? They say, no, not really. They'll say, racism happened a long time ago. Get over it. But anytime they want to legitimize their own situation, that's when they'll acknowledge ours. They only acknowledge the issues that affect foundational Black Americans when they can benefit from it. If they cannot benefit from it, then they won't say shit. 1 minute it'll be, this is kind of like slavery. What's happening to us is just like slavery. The next minute it's get over slavery. It doesn't happen. See what I'm talking about? Y'all see the games and the cons, family. You see what they do. They talk out of both sides of the neck. They play both sides of the argument. Slavery has been compared to everything, and they only do it when they can benefit off of it. Our foundational Black American ancestors were exploited when they're alive, and they're still being exploited today. Their legacies are being used to benefit everybody except for their offspring. Think about that. Think about that. Foundational Black American ancestors' legacy is being used to benefit everybody except for foundational Black Americans. You got other groups who are anti-Black benefiting off of foundational Black American slaves. But us, FBA, as soon as we bring it up, nobody wants to say a thing. Think about that. They compare the immigration, abortion, Roe vs. Wade, all of that to slavery. They compare that group, and that group. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Rainbow groups, every group. They compare all their situations to slavery. But when foundational Black Americans start talking about reparations for our people being enslaved, then all of a sudden it's, well, let's study it for 50 years. You see what I'm talking about? It's the same game. So when it comes to the energy of mooching off our plate, they're at 500. When it comes to the energy of showing us respect for what we've done, it's 0. And that's why we don't fuck with them. And then when we call them out, they play victim. Because when it comes to foundational Black Americans, everybody plays a victim card. We've never had any conflict or any issue with anyone where they ever come in good faith. Y'all notice that one fucking pattern is that when foundational Black Americans speak, everybody always plays victim. We haven't had one situation with anybody where they come to us like a fucking adult. Everybody comes to us like fucking children. You did it to me. You guys did it first. The FBA did it. You feel me? That weak ass shit. That's why we don't respect these motherfuckers. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to hear it. Everybody wants to play that Kumbaya culture. Certified blacks, man, we don't do that. Motherfuckers get called out for their bullshit. What needs to be said gets said, and what needs to get done gets done. That's why we are the era of results. It is all about results. Kumbaya has never given any results to foundational Black Americans. It doesn't work for us. It doesn't. And the Democrats, they always try to push this upon us. They try to push Kumbaya culture because Kumbaya culture benefits the people that they're trying to advance above us. They're trying to keep us at an economic underclass. So therefore, if we're Kumbaya, we're saying, hey, I'll do it. When you certify, we say, fuck to the nah. And family, I am so glad that we live in the fuck to the nah era. I mean, I love it because the Kumbaya era was dangerous. It just does not work for us. Kumbaya will have you welcoming in people who hate you. Kumbaya will have you praising people who are against you. Kumbaya will have you forgiving your oppressor. That is exactly what happens. It's like these motherfuckers just didn't care. They were in such a rush to be accepted, to be acknowledged, to get butter biscuits. They didn't even want butter biscuits. They wanted the fucking crumbs of butter biscuits. Back in the old days, at least they take the whole goddamn butter biscuit. These goddamn coons of the modern era, they'll just take the crumbs. You ain't even gotta give them a slice of that shit. That's how pathetic it was. If you look, you would start seeing Black Americans, or shall I say, the African Americans, because remember, African Americans and foundational Black Americans are two different people. Two different people. Foundational Black Americans represent what's real. We are the certifieds. African Americans got a barcode on their neck and it says counterfeit Negro. They would be welcoming to anything, anywhere, anything Zaddy, Massa, Karen, Becky, Bob, Billy, Mr. Muhammad, Miss Sanchez, Miss motherfucking Selena, Mr. motherfucking Jorge, whatever the fuck an outsider gave to them or presented to them, they would take it. Think about it. A lot of these African Americans, they were in groups that didn't even exist. The Minority Coalition does not exist. The People of Color Coalition does not exist. Black and Brown does not exist. Pan-Africanism does not exist. These people are in groups. How the fuck are you in a group that is not even real? You're the only one doing it. You playing that game by yourself. It's like if you look outside and you see somebody goddamn throwing the football in the air, throwing his own passes, catching his own passes, kicking the soccer ball, ain't nobody around. You the only person playing that game. If you go down to Mexico and you start talking about a Black and Brown coalition, they're gonna say, what the fuck is that? If you go to Asia, you go anywhere, and you ask them about people of color, they're gonna say, what the fuck is that? These groups only exist in a lot of these coons' brains. And if another group ever represents it, trust me, they're only pretending because they understand by you being a fool to it, they can exploit that. You feel me? Right now, you got a lot of people trying to crowbar themselves into foundational Black American heritage. And they're trying to have back and forth with Black folks. I'm not having no back and forth with somebody that's trying to say they're a part of my lineage. That's just not happening. So all that back and forth shit, where they sitting there going back with Soledad O'Brien, who came out and she said Latinx or whatever is a part of foundational Black American culture. No, it is not. No, it is not. And I'm not even going to sit there and honor you with the debate. I'm going to tell you, fuck to the no. And we going to keep it moving. Because there's only two groups of people who buy into those fantasy groups. It is the coon who wants to be accepted by everybody, and it is the minority who wants to eat, mooch, and leech off of foundational Black American accomplishments. That is it. Outside of those two groups right there ain't no POCs, there ain't no Black and browns, there ain't no minorities. That's just what it is. That is facts. And when you come to it, why do these people want to latch onto our culture so bad, so desperately? The reason why they want to do that is because they don't really have culture or success or accomplishments inside of this country. When you look at this country right now, within these 50 states, these other groups don't have the success. These other groups don't have the achievements that foundational Black Americans have. Foundational Black American achievements are immense. You can look all across this country. The whole damn country has foundational Black American fingerprints. I'm talking about indigenous. I'm talking about modern. Every single invention is from foundational Black Americans. Every single war foundational Black Americans have fought in. Every piece of legislation is because foundational Black Americans have pushed it to the forefront. That's what we have. They don't have that. And it burns them that the same group that they're trying to advance above us cannot match us. When they come to America, this is the one place where they have to wipe their feet at the door and respect Black folks. Down where they live, they won't even acknowledge Black people. Trust me, there are millions of Black folks in their area. How come they don't claim them? How come you don't claim them? How come you're in such a rush to attach yourself to the Black folks here, but you're so quick to disattach yourself from the Black folks in your homeland? The Black folks in your homeland, they got the worst clothing, they got the worst housing, they're deprived of education, they're deprived of jobs, they're deprived of basic human rights. Foundational Black Americans, we fight for ours. So you want to come over here and attach yourself to us while you advance yourself above us. You need to worry about the Black folks down there in your land. The majority of them have Black in them. They want to say, well, we got Black in us too. Okay, then how well do you treat the Black folks down there? What is your obsession with Black folks on this side of the border? Oh, I get it. On your side of the border, you can hate on those Black folks and you can oppress and subjugate them. Black folks over here, you can cling on to, latch to, and eat off of. And that's what burns them. It burns them that they're so used to having anti-Black racism, but when they step here, they gotta look up to Black folks. That's what I tell people. Foundational Black Americans, we give a lot of people a wake-up call because in their homelands, Black people are treated like dirt. In their homelands, even in Africa, Black Africans treat other Black Africans like dirt. So when they come over here and they encounter us, they're like, damn, these Black folks is prideful. These Black folks is strong. We cannot hustle these Black folks. And they got to rearrange their whole approach on how they deal with a Black person here. And they're not used to that. They don't want to get used to that. When they come up from South America into North America, they got to rearrange how they talk to Black people. Because we don't go for that. I've been down there. I've been all over the world. And one thing you see in the common denominator is everywhere you are at, you see Black folks being treated like dirt in those places. But when they come here, Black folks about that life. And they're not used to dealing with Black folks who are about that life. So when they encounter Black folks who are about that life, they watch their fucking mouth. And that burns them. It burns them that they can practice anti-Black racism across the whole goddamn planet Earth. But this is a no anti-Black racism zone because these Black folks gon' G-check your ass. They don't like it. They don't like it. They cannot stand it. So first thing they do is say, well, let's crowbar ourselves into their culture. They look at us as a come up because they don't have any type of accomplishments or achievements here. As I said, when you look at them, they celebrate all these holidays that are a part of their indigenous homeland. We don't do that. We celebrate holidays that are right here in foundational Black America, our homeland, the land we built. We talk about Juneteenth. That is a foundational Black American holiday. You start talking about people like Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X. These are foundational Black Americans. We celebrate these people's days. They got to celebrate stuff from their homelands and bring it over here. We don't have to do that. See, that irritates them. They got to sit there and say, well, let's celebrate this holiday that happened to us back in our homelands, but let's bring it over the border to America. Well, we right here, we don't have to go get our holidays from Africa. We don't have to go get our holidays from Jamaica or Haiti. No, we got our own foundational Black American United States of America holidays that we created because the events of those holidays occurred right here in these 50 states. They cannot do that. They got to leave these 50 states to find achievements. They got to leave these 50 states to find success. They got to leave these 50 states to find accomplishments. We got all of it right here because we are the inventors. We are the architects. And that is something else they do not like. They do not like having to play second fiddle to foundational Black Americans. And Zaddy has promised them that he'll elevate them above us. Zaddy has promised them that they'll give them all these little trinkets and stuff so they can put them up and bury us under immigration, bury us under minorities, bury us under people of color. That burying ain't working. They got to go get them a new shovel, okay? Because next thing you know, you look up and foundational Black Americans ain't went for none of the bullshit. So the last thing that they do is they say, how can we associate ourselves with them? And since we are in the G-Check era, since we are in the gatekeep era, and this is about the Black grassroots, the Black grassroots is disallowing anybody from getting a free meal from us. If you think you're going to come to our barbecue and get a plate and then take that shit back home, you're in for a rude awakening. They came over here thinking it was the 1960s, found out it was the 2000s. And that's the difference between a freeman and a fleer. We don't have that mentality. We don't have that mooch or leech. You've never seen a foundational Black American sit there and say, how can we eat off somebody else's plate? Because we are people who are used to building our own plate. We build our own plate, we go get our own food, we cook our own food. That type of mentality runs deep in the person. This is for real, family. Psychologically, when you're somebody who goes and gets it out the mud and creates, you can never compare that to somebody who steals. Someone who builds versus someone who steals is a completely different avenue. Someone who creates opposed to someone who has things created for them, completely different avenue. So it is a low budget thought process to come over here and try to take our culture. Because if you basically leave it up to the tethers, we didn't create popular culture. Every single aspect of our society, there's a tether out there that's going to claim it for themselves. I'm not playing, y'all. Y'all seen it. Everything. Think of one aspect of foundational Black American society, foundational Black American culture, and foundational Black American inventions. And I guarantee you, there is a tether group out there claiming it for themselves in all different types of language. All of our creations and their heads belongs to them. Everything. If you name it, and it's on document, the foundational Black Americans created it, there will be another tether group saying, did you know technically that we really built this? That it wasn't really the Blacks. Y'all seeing that all the time now, right? It wasn't really the Black Americans. It was us. We're the ones who really invented that. I'm seeing it. I seen somebody saying, we're the ones who really built America. Listen to this.
Guys, don't ever forget that immigrants built the United States of America. They said, we got to stay strong and we got to fight so that the United States of America stays the United States of America, not the divided states of America.
That's Pitbull, by the way. Y'all remember the guy who came up rapping? He used to wear a fucking do-rag and hang out with all the Black rappers? Yeah, how much did he give a fuck about the culture? You're also hearing people say, we're the ones who really created hip-hop. Listen to this.
Rights. The Nuyorican movement produced poetry and art that recognized Afro and Afro-Taino history. Afro-Cuban rhythms influenced jazz and R&B. And it was Puerto Ricans, Caribbeans, and African Americans in the Bronx who created hip-hop in the 70s and 80s, drawing from their shared struggles.
You see what I'm talking about, family? Let me sit back. Hold up. Y'all see what I'm talking about? Receipts. We got them right here on the Black Alpha Network. These people have no shame. This is the difference with a fleer. Now, they cannot point to their home country and name all of these inventions. They cannot point to their home country and name all of these creations, but they can find them over here. So they created more by fleeing than they ever did by building. So they're saying that the fleer has done more than the freedman. The fleer has done more than the foundational. The fleer did more than the person who stayed and built the country with their own hands. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. They built America. They created hip hop, things that are notoriously known to be foundational Black American inventions. They say that they created it. And then they'll get mad at you if you say otherwise. And also on top of that, they never really started saying this at a heavy amount until as of late. There was never this back in the day. We went for 400, 500 years. Hip hop is about 50, 60 years old, and no one ever claimed hip hop until now. Soon as we get on our game, soon as we get on code, everybody's coming out the woodwork saying what we have done is theirs. They look at us as like a big ass lottery ticket. It's like when someone wins the lotto and then they start getting calls from 5th cousins, 7th uncles, 13th aunties that say, hey man, I'm your auntie on your mother's brother's cousin's side. Let me hold something. Let me get $200. Let me get $400. Let me get $600. That's what they are. That's what they are. They look at foundational Black Americans as a meal ticket. They look at foundational Black Americans as something that they don't have to do any work for. They can just come in and take. And then when you have Zaddy, who wants to put us under a caste system of permanent underclass to benefit his capitalistic savagery, when you add that to the fray, that's why gatekeeping is the only answer, and that's why gatekeeping is the only thing that will provide substantial results that we are looking for. That is why we have to stay on it. That's why we reject Kumbaya culture, and that's why when they ask us why, we say it's because we foundational Black Americans and we said so. That's why. That's the thought process, and we continue to break it down. That's the outlook and the overseeing that foundational Black Americans have to always approach. I mean, look at it this way. You don't see foundational Black Americans saying, technically, Africa belongs to us. You don't hear us saying that shit. You don't hear us saying, well, technically, Australia belongs to us. Asia belongs to us. We don't do none of that. Shout out to Queen Alpha. She pointed that out to me. One love, baby. We don't say that. That's what I'm talking about. You never see FBA in this rush to go to other places and claim their culture. We don't go over there and sit in on their panels and try to dictate and determine their future endeavors. We don't do that shit. That is not in our thoughts. That is not in our way of thinking, because we're getting it on our own. I'm telling you, when somebody gets it on their own, they don't have to worry about the next person. That is the difference with foundational Black Americans and all these people. This is why we cannot see eye to eye, and this is why we can't build with them. Plus, they are not here to build with us. They're here to steal from us. There's a difference between a builder and a stealer. These people are thieves. They're here to take what's yours with no care in the world. They enjoy it. That's what they like. That's their motives. You feel me? Kumbaya culture had Black folks thinking everyone was coming here as reinforcements. You know what I'm saying? All the melanated groups of the world, they gonna recognize what we go through. They go through the same thing. I'm telling y'all, when all these other groups come here, this country is changing. By the year 3000, this country's gonna be a whole different color. Okay. And those different colors are still gonna hate your Black ass. Trust me when I tell you that shit. Matter of fact, a lot of those Black people from those Black countries are gonna come here and hate your foundational Black American ass. That's why I always say you have anti-Black racism and then you have anti-foundational Black American racism. It is an offshoot of just regular anti-Black racism. But anti-foundational Black American racism is a little worse. I'm gonna tell you why. It's because it's got other people who are Black calling you racial slurs. You gotta deal with this from everybody, from being Black, then you gotta deal with it from being Black and American freedmen. Those are the two situations at hand. Those are the two situations at hand, and it is all the system and the apparatus that has been formulated right here by the dominant society. See, the dominant society, they use tethers as their human shields. They love tethers as their human shields because all these tethers, remember, they come from a country where they want to be W's. You feel me? You cannot pick one place out here on this planet where tethers come from that they don't act, participate, and mimic dominant society supremacy. They all do. That's why I was just saying, you have Black people practicing supremacy on other Black people in the majority of these tether countries. I ain't lying. Look it up. They talk about the Black and brown. If you go to these places, the brown discriminates on the Black. Then you got some of the Black that hate on other Black folks. You have two Black folks from some of these tether countries. It'll be two Black folks. They'll both be dark as midnight and a half. And they'll both hate on each other and say that they ain't Black. This is the type of mentality that you're bringing here. That's why I tell people, understand global supremacy. Global supremacy. See, foundational Black American culture, we don't have that color shit where one light dominates the dark and you can't eat tonight because you too dark. We don't do that amongst each other. People always say, well, y'all got the colorisms. They're called coons, and we got names for them. They're called smuts, and we got names for them. We call their ass out. Other places, they got a color system that is so strict where it'll have one Black person hating on another Black person. It'll affect where you can eat at. It'll affect what job you can have. Your ass be over there swimming, backstroking in fucking cake soap. We don't do that. Put some cake soap on in foundational Black America and see if your ass don't get roasted. That's why anybody who does jump in some fucking cake soap over here, they get their ass out of Dodge. They run. They stay away from us because they know what smoke they're gonna get. We don't go for that. We don't have these systems or have this culture where Black folks is out here just trying to tear each other down based on color system. We don't do that. Half of our family reunions got Black folks of all different types of shades. Because to us, if you foundational Black American, you foundational Black American. That's what it is. We understand we come in different shades. We understand that we're all classified the same way by supremacy. We understand we're all viewed the same way by the dominant society. We know that shit. FBA, we been known that. That's off rip. We guarantee that on day one. You ain't fooling us with that one. We all know your ass Black. That's why we say it all the time. What are you? Man, I'm Black. That's what we say. They don't say that shit. They pull that I'm not Black shit. Guarantee you in their areas, if they got different shades, like we got different shades, their lighter shade is determining how much food the darker shade gonna get. Travel on down to these places and what you will see is that the darker complected people are living in the ghetto. The darker complected people are not represented on television. The darker complected people are not represented in politics. The darker complected people are not represented anywhere publicly. I went to go visit a place down in South America, and what I noticed off rip, because I want to see fellow black people. I can hear about things, but I want to go see. So I did my own blackout for research. And when I went down there, the first thing I noticed is that there's plenty of black people down there. It's just they don't represent black and they don't see themselves as black. As a matter of fact, I found out they're the ones who will argue you down that they're not black, even if they're darker than you. And then I also realized that whenever you turned on the television, it did not reflect what you seen out in the streets. When you go out in the streets, you see melanin all day long. You turn on that TV, the melanin content started going to the floor. I had an old friend. He went to another place down in the Caribbean, a Latin area in the Caribbean. I ain't gonna say where, but he went down there and he was dressed real nice. And everybody kept staring at him. They kept looking at him like, who are you? Where are you from? Now, mind you, half the people there looked just like him when it came to skin tone. But they was looking at him with that side eye, like, what are you? Where are you from? See, the thing was, they knew that he was a foundational black American. Not because of his skin color, because, like I said, half of them looked just like him. They knew because how well he was dressed. Put that together. Basically, what that is saying is that the other people who are dark down there dress so dingy and have the worst clothes, so much to the point that they knew my homeboy was a foundational black American just because he was dressed nice. Damn, what does that say about their conditions? The fact that you could tell that he's not even from here because he's wearing a clean shirt, that lets you know that the people who are there, they ain't living too well. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. It's easy to connect the dots, family. These places have a supremacist mentality already. So when they get here and they encounter the dominant society, they want to assimilate to it. And plus, the dominant society has already rolled out the tether red carpet for them and promised them that we will elevate you above foundational black Americans, because at the end of the day, they know that a tether is way more easy to deal with. Why? It's because FBA are the only people who have consistently fought the global system of supremacy. We're the only ones. I'm not talking about in a few pockets here, a few pockets there, a couple weeks, a couple months. No, we are the only people on the planet who have consistently fought supremacy. And we continue to be the only people who are prideful enough to do so. And we are the only people who are unique enough to stand up, stand out, and make shit pop. And that is why everybody has a problem with us. It is a whole system at play here. This is why you start to see everybody crowbar themselves into our reparations, crowbar themselves into our legislations, and crowbar themselves into any resource that foundational black Americans get. I mean, look at it. Every time a politician is confronted with the term black American, foundational black American, or any sort, the first thing they do is they try to immediately pivot into an all-encompassing statement. People of color. That's why the term people of color was created. It wasn't created just because they want to call folks color. No, it was created so they could take what is specific to us and give it to the collective. And what that ends up doing is diluting what we need. So if we have a plate with 4 pieces of bread on it and we need all 4, eventually we got to share 3.5. And we left with a half. We ain't even left with a full piece. We're left with a half. Why? It's because our government, federally, the dominant society supporting, took all of that and gave it to everybody else. Because of the exact same reasons I just mentioned. Because those people are easier to deal with and those people are glad to take it. Once again, a fleer. A fleer is proud to take something for free. A fleer is proud to have some assistance. A fleer is proud to take charity. No shame. No shame. They're proud of it. They're proud of it. I know we can't wrap our minds around it, because we're architects. We build. We don't just wait for someone else to make the food, snatch the plate, and run. We don't do that. We don't say, well, shit got hot here. Our country failed. Let's get the fuck out of here. Go to somebody else's country. Let's go steal someone else's culture. We don't do that. We don't think like that. That is not in our thought process. Not at all. But that's what they do. And they do it with no shame. They do it with no shame. They do that shit with a big tether smile. All they tether teeth showing. They just are completely cool with it. We're not. Foundational black Americans, we've been living trying to make it on our own, build on our own, create on our own, stand on our own. Whatever we're doing it on our own. Being on our own is the main emphasis of what foundational black Americans do. This is who we are. This is what we've always been. Our ancestors got it on their own. They gave us lemons. We made lemonade. You understand where I'm coming from? Other people, they don't have that. They don't have that in them. It's absent. I'm just being 100. It's absent in them. This is why you see a difference of how we interact. Right now, they're trying to get in on pretty much everything that is presented for us. Everything that we're doing. I'm telling y'all, family. I'm telling y'all, you know I keep it real, and I know you guys already know. Everything we're fighting for right now. I'm talking about tangibles, reparations, everything. All they do is they got their fucking binoculars on. They're looking around the fucking tree, on top of a fucking roof. They popping out of fucking trash cans. Everywhere you can find them, they're looking at foundational Black Americans and saying, oh, they over there trying to get some stuff. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, foundational Black Americans have woke up and they're trying to get some real tangibles. Let's see if we can go get in on their tangibles. They want in on our history museums. You guys see that right now? You see that? First off, like we always say, these smuts and these boule folks run half of these museums out here. Half of these fucking Black history monuments, all that stuff are ran by boule folks who are the old coons from yesterday who allowed all this shit to happen. So they're the folks that we're cleaning house over all their mistakes. I can't even say it's their mistakes. Shit that they willingly did. All the selling out our community, all that throwing us under the bus, all that handing over all of our culture to someone else and just saying, here, we're all family now. We all peoples of colors, all of that type of shit. We're out here trying to get rid of that energy and we're replacing it with certified energy. Remember this, we have to get rid of the system of supremacy and replace it with a system of justice. And at the same time, we have to get rid of coon energy and replace it with certified energy. And we're all in the process of doing that right now. That's why things are changing. But as you see, a lot of these monuments and a lot of these historical museums, they're all ran by a bunch of HBCC coons, okay? And a lot of them folks don't give a damn about the rooted grassroots initiatives that foundational Black Americans represent. All they care about is getting a butter biscuit crumb, being accepted by Zaddy, and perhaps, if they get it right, get some type of acknowledgement from the dominant society. So right now, they're allowing a bunch of other groups to come in and have little spots and areas in our museums. Think about that. Groups that have never done nothing for foundational Black Americans. Groups that have never stood up for us, literally sat out and watched us struggle. They sat out the civil rights era. They sat out the Breonna Taylor, the George Floyd, the Ahmaud Arbery. They sat out all of those movements. And as soon as we get something popping, they swoop in and they try to take it. Well, anyway, these little HBC coon folks, they're sitting here trying to put a whole section of Latinx inside of foundational Black American museums. Come on, y'all. Come on. And I seen Soledad O'Brien, she comes out and she says, well, you know, we are Black. Oh, now they're Black. Now they're Black. Okay, so you have these people who have historically denied their Blackness, and the only time they will admit their Blackness is when it comes to reparations, tangibles, and taking off of our culture. That's it. That's it. Because y'all know they never openly walked around and claimed Blackness. If they did, you would see what they mark on the census, which is non-Black. As soon as we start talking about reparations, we're all Black again. And first off, they got that fundamentally wrong because ain't nobody talking about Black. We're talking about foundational Black American. You see how they're trying to hustle us with the flat Blackness. This is why we say we must eliminate flat Blackness across the board. Flat Blackness is just like POC or minority. It's just an avenue for people to walk across the bridge, take what's ours, walk back across the bridge and take it home to themselves. Flat Blackness is another all-encompassing word. It's another collective term. We got to get rid of the collective. We got to start getting into the specifics. We got to quit getting into the we's and start getting into the I's. They say there ain't no I in team. Well, goddammit, there's an I in foundational Black American though. As a matter of fact, there's two of them, and we're going to keep it that way. Now they're trying to debate. And like I said, I'm not debating a non-FBA about how they feel they belong in FBA culture. I'm just not doing it. I cannot go to anywhere else on this world and have a debate with people about why I should get in on what they have. Okay, first off, FBA, we don't even think like that, so we would never do it. But even if we chose to do it, they would tell us no. Foundational Black Americans have to stop debating non-FBAs who are trying to tell us how FBA they are. Man, fuck no. They have no, we gotta quit that shit. Those debates are pointless. They're pointless. I am not debating anybody who tries to come to my house and tell me he's a part of my family. That's basically somebody coming to your house telling you he's a part of your family, so he's entitled to everything y'all got in the house. You gonna tell him, get the fuck out my yard. That's what you gonna tell him. Matter of fact, it might even get worse than that, because I know how FBA get down. But for the sake of everything, we'll just say you tell him to get the fuck out your yard. At the simplest. That's exactly what happened. Folks are coming to our house, telling us we built your house, let us in. Or if they're not telling us they built it, they're telling us that they helped us build it. Or they're telling us that we wouldn't have built it if it wasn't for them. They're basically showing up on a fucking high horse, talking some straight tether supremacy on us. Talking about some, this is ours. We helped y'all get that. We the reasons why y'all are where you are, because that's all they're telling you. All they're telling you when Soledad O'Brien comes out and says, we black too, and we have played a long history in black American success. Who? Where? Who the fuck you talking about? And who you talking to? You ain't played no role in this. The only role that any other minority group has ever played in foundational black American history is mooching. That's the only role. They didn't ever help us free anybody. They didn't ever help us through the civil rights era. They didn't help us through Reconstruction. They damn sure ain't helping us through the B1 era. And they have not helped any black person who has been a target of anti-black targeting. Motherfucker, please. As a matter of fact, they've been sitting on their fucking couches and applauding it. And I'm talking about all their asses. That is disrespectful. And as we say, you will put some respect on it. And you do not get respect by debating these motherfuckers. You get respect by telling them. You know how motherfuckers be like, so-and-so. I'm just saying. No, I ain't just saying. I'm just telling. With an exclamation point at the end of that motherfucker so you get the point. That's how we got to talk to them. I told you, there's no shame. If somebody is willing to come over here knowing damn well they're not a part of your culture, but try to claim it, you know what type of time they on. When they know damn well that they're not a part of your lineage, but they claim it. You know what type of time they on. And we know what type of time they on. Come on now. This is where we at. And here's the thing. Weren't they just telling us we didn't have a culture? Didn't they just say that? You see what I'm talking about? How they'll contradict and they'll play both sides of the argument. 1 minute it said we don't even have a culture and foundational black Americans are just sitting out here. The next minute they created our culture. How you create our culture if we don't have a culture? Yep, got them. You see what I'm talking about? This all boils down to yes and no. If you say yes, everything is good. When you say no, then all of a sudden it's, y'all don't have a culture. They say that we don't have a culture on Monday. On Tuesday, they saying they created our culture. You see the difference when you start dealing with these people. These are nothing more than crowbars. These are nothing more than tethers. These are nothing more than people who look at foundational black Americans as a meal ticket, as a come up. How can we get what they have? Because a lot of these people have not done anything. When you start talking about someone who fled, the F in fled is for failure. Okay, one more time. The F in fleer, the F in fled means failed. That means that your ass could not get it popping, could not get it jumping, could not get it cracking wherever you're from. So therefore, you took off and ran. And then when you got here, it's like a power vacuum. You look around and you say, well, you have the dominant society here in America. I subscribe to the dominant society in my tether homeland. The dominant society comes down on foundational black Americans. Well, I should come down on foundational black Americans. And better yet, let me try to replace foundational black Americans and compensate for the lack of achievements that I've had in this country. See, everything FBA has done, we've done it with inside of these 50 states. Whatever they have done or haven't done, they did outside of these 50 states. And they hate that our Americanism is more pure than them. This is what the world cannot stand. The world cannot stand that they all look up to America, but every time you look at America, you got to see foundational black Americans. Because we built this country. We are the architect. We are the ones who make this all go. They cannot stand that they all practice anti-black racism, but yet the country that they all want to duplicate was created by foundational black Americans. They hate that. This is what burns them on the inside. Wherever they're from, they can see black people and look down on them. When they come to where we're from, they see black folks and they gotta look up. You feel me? That's another checkmate. Another one. And like we always say, if they cannot get it popping in their homeland, or we don't allow them to tether themselves to us, then they'll just try to sink the whole ship. That's one of the tactics that they have. We've already broke down the different forms of tethers and all that mooching and leeching that they do. Let's take it to another one. Let's go to another step. Another step, what they do is they start saying, well, we've all had that problem. You feel me? 1 minute it's there's no such thing as supremacy, because that's what they tell us, right? How many times do you see, and I'm talking about all the different minority groups. I've seen them all say the same thing about foundational black Americans, because trust me, when they was watching Trayvon Martin, they sat back and they sided with the dominant society. When they sat there and watched Jordan Davis, they sided with the dominant society. When they seen Sandra Bland, they sided with the dominant society. They side with the dominant society consistently. That's why whenever you look at statistics about race relations in this country, specifically about black people who are unarmed and harmed, you always see that the POC groups are leaning towards what the dominant society thinks. Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. The only time they ever acknowledge an issue is if it affects them directly, and then they're saying, FBA, come on over here and help us with our issue. I mean, the same exact thing happened to y'all, and we didn't give a fuck, but when it happens to us, y'all supposed to help us. It's that one-sided relationship. It's that one-sided, selfish-ass relationship where people always want us to help them in issues that they will never lift a finger to help us. Yes, indeed. So every time you see any black person who was harmed, you can always see that the POC community, okay, because the POC community exists. We just ain't in it because we foundational black Americans. We are our own ethnicity, lineage, heritage, culture. Separate. They over there, we right here. But what you come to see is that they always slant and they always lean towards the dominant society. They saying the same damn things. They saying the same damn things. I've seen them. They're saying, well, he shouldn't have ran. That's coming from the POC community too, okay? They're sitting there saying, well, he should have picked up his pants. Don't be mad. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. They're saying the same things because they watch the dominant society say them and then they regurgitate them. All you're dealing with is the dominant society in POC form. One more time, you're dealing with the dominant society in POC form. As a matter of fact, we have a elongated history right here in this country of POC race soldiers who have harmed black people. George Zimmerman, POC race soldier. Our brother Kai Gurley was harmed in New York by a POC race soldier. Our beloved Latasha Harlins was harmed by a POC race soldier. And that list that I just mentioned is amassed of over 30 years. And then you can add an extra 30 years over that. Yes, POC race soldiers are all out here every single day. And this is what the dominant society wants. This is all done by plan. This is all orchestrated. And they're completely cool with it because that's how they get their little brownie points. So we got to be careful of all this, family, and we got to understand that our culture is serious and our culture is trying to be hijacked and co-opted. Let's look at it right now. As I was saying, whenever they cannot get what we have and we say, no, you're not going to tether, you're not going to crowbar, then the next thing they'll just start saying is that, well, we all deal with that problem. They all claim that they deal with supremacy, never admit it any other time. But whenever it comes to getting what we have, then they'll admit it, right? So basically, they're all operating under the format of there is no supremacy when it affects foundational black Americans. But when it affects them, then they'll acknowledge it. Or when they can eat off our plate, then they'll acknowledge it. As I say, they're all on a yes, no. Whenever things are yes, they steal it. Anytime it's no, they're crying. That's what they do. That's just exactly what tethers do. As I say, we build, they steal. So if you tell them you're not allowed to take what's ours, then they'll be mad. If you tell them they can, then they'll be glad. That's it. It's yes or no basis. That's all they operate on. So now you're starting to see, since we pushed them off of our reparations and we're pushing them out of our culture because now they all want to be part of our culture. Anyway, so now that we're pushing them off of our culture, now they're starting to say, well, there was slaves everywhere. Y'all hearing that? I know y'all all been seeing them videos pop up where these people consistently are saying, well, we had slaves too.
Hi, hello. This is going to be shocking for many of you to hear, but did you know that black people are not the only race to have historically experienced slavery? I know this is shocking, but pretty much every civilization in the history of mankind, at some point their ancestry owned slaves. Because slavery was a worldwide human rights issue for a very, very long time, for many centuries. So it doesn't matter if you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. Very likely at some point your ancestry down the line owned slaves. Doesn't make it right, but that was just the way of the world for a very, very long time. So all these comments like, you're not black, you can't speak about slavery. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. Slavery was a human rights issue across the world, across all races and all civilizations for a long time. And the United States was one of the first countries to abolish it very quickly and efficiently. So all the comments about being a non-black person, you can't speak about slavery, every single civilization has experienced slavery at some point.
Look at Kamala Harris. She compared it to slavery.
We know, NAACP, that our country has a history of claiming ownership over human bodies.
Now listen to Barack Obama say that natives built America.
It's really important for us to remember our history. You know, unless you're one of the first Americans, a Native American, you came from someplace else. Somebody brought you.
He won't tell you who the natives were. He's trying to tell you that the natives were somebody other than foundational black Americans. And that goes to show you that both of them right there, they're not FBA, they ain't even black. Two non-FBAs, one comparing slavery to abortion, the other one's basically saying FBA are immigrants. That goes to show you right there that they're non-FBA, because no FBA would ever say that, because out of the whole world, we seem to be the only people who respect what our ancestors went through because they're our ancestors. You've seen that nobody respects our ancestors unless they can get a goddamn meal ticket. If they can get a meal ticket, they'll talk about slavery all fucking day. If they can compare it to somebody else, to talk about it all day. We, family, and I'm talking to everybody out there, we are the only ones who have to hold down our family tree and hold down our ancestors. We're the only ones who give a damn about the first passage, the middle passage, picking cotton in the South, worse clothes, worse conditions. Nobody on this planet gives a damn about the FBA slaves except for us. So that means we got to go 10 times harder representing them, and we got to go 10 times harder checking motherfuckers who are disrespectful. And I'm all for it. Yes, indeed. See, they don't have their own version of United States chattel slavery. So now what they're doing, exactly what I said, they got to leave this country and go to a whole nother fucking country on the other side of the earth, bring all that mess and all that drama over here, and try to compare their struggles back in their homeland to here in America. Now you tell me anywhere else in the world can you do that? Can you go to the other side of earth and then come over here and tell the United States government that they owe you for what happened somewhere else? The United States government's gonna say, I don't give a fuck, that's your problem. Can a motherfucker come from the other side of the Atlantic Ocean and say, oh yeah, in my country, I was harmed, so the American government has to pay me for it? American government gonna say, that ain't American problem. See you later. You can't go right now to anybody's country and say, oh, by the way, in my country, I was harmed, so everybody here owes me. I need all y'all tax-paying dollars to assist me for some shit that didn't even happen here. Nah, that ain't how it works. Now they're bringing in slavery that existed in places before America was even created. They're doing that all humanoid shit. They'll always hit you with the human shit. They're like, well, all humans were enslaved. All humans at one point in time were slaves. I mean, these motherfuckers going back to BC. They was like, before running water, before electricity, before people could read or write, we were technically slaves, so we should get y'all reparations too now. I told you, when you dealing with somebody who's shameful, you get shameless shit. That's what happens, and that's exactly what they doing. They bringing in issues that existed literally 1,000 years ago and trying to bring them over here and make foundational Black Americans share our reparations money with them. They're bringing up shit that happened literally on the other side of the planet, just so they can get our reparations. Once we started talking about reparations, family, the game changed, because now you talking about money. You talking about money. Can't you all see it? The domino effect and the aftershock of our reparations claim. Our reparations claim has sent this world into a spin. And I'm going to give you 2 points. The first point is a great one. The first point is that means that we on the doorstep. That means that we're really about to punch this in. We're on the goal line. We about to score that touchdown. They know that we're getting closer to that bag. And the closer we get to the bag, this is why you seeing all this fugazi bullshit. I mean, we seeing some straight up desperate nonsense. Things that don't make no sense, things that don't add up, things that do not compute. You're starting to see it. You're starting to see groups from all over the fucking planet. You're starting to see people bringing in their issues from fucking 9,000 years ago in some goddamn cave. I mean, wherever they can find it. You got motherfuckers talking about something. I was in a village in 1702 and nobody really knew we were here. And then when we came out of that village, we built the whole country of America from straw. And after we built it from straw, we took the grass and then we put grass on top of it. That's why you have grass in America. So with that said, my people should get reparations before the foundational Black Americans. My people should get all the reparations instead of the blacks. The motherfuckers is hurt. They hurt right now. They got a fucked up shoulder because they reaching. They done blew their fucking shoulder out because they reaching that much. You got people literally who weren't even here trying to stake claim to our culture. I mean, nowhere. And that's what bothers them, because they can't point to or prove anything they say, and we can point to directly everything that we have said. Everything that we say, we got receipts. I mean, it's well documented. I mean, you can go to the fucking places and see it. They cannot do that. Only thing they have is a bunch of straw man arguments and bad faith. And straw man arguments and bad faith do not stand up to race receipts, and we cashing them every single second. So issue number 1 is that we're getting closer to the bag and all the desperation is being elevated, and our reparations claim has sent everybody into a tailspin. And issue number 2 is that we are changing the blueprint and we're changing the future of how everything is going to be played. Everything is really transforming right now. We're in a very transformative era. As we say the B1 era, and I've said it before, everybody, let me say it again for the folks who think that they people came from a village in 1702 and used straw and grass to build the country. Can't nobody account for them. They got no DNA, no statistics, no evidence. Let's say what we do have evidence of. We have evidence that foundational Black Americans have built this country. Yes. Foundational Black Americans have created this country. Yes. Foundational Black Americans have been the backbone of this country. That is all documented. And there have been 5 waves of foundational Black American history right here in this country of the United States of America. Number 1 being the Indigenous era, that were the original people who were here. That was foundational Black Americans. Then you have slavery. That was foundational Black Americans. Then you have Reconstruction. That was foundational Black Americans. Then you have the Civil Rights era. On top of that, right now as we speak, the B1 era. Those are 5 waves of foundational Black Americans, and all those other groups who are trying to claim that they have the same history as us, trying to claim that they created what we created, and trying to act like they're us. Those people are being exposed, and they can simply not keep up. They can't. They got to compensate. This is what happens when somebody ain't got it. They ain't got the talent. And it's cool. Just, hey, if you ain't got the talent, you ain't got the skills to pay the bills, that's all right. That's why they make chairs. You can sit your ass down in a chair. Or if you don't have a chair, you can go sit your ass on the corner. Okay? Either way, foundational Black Americans, we're going to continue to be great. We are the ones who put forth the architectural structure of this country, and we are the people who continue to be the only ones who push that line. And we also push motherfuckers out the way if they try to disrespect. So no, you're not gonna wear the mask of our ancestors and put that face mask on and then take it on and take it off. Man, that shit ain't working. We ain't going for that. We ain't about that. Only thing that we about right now is getting to the money, getting to the bag. And if that sends everybody in the tailspin, fuck them. It's all cool. Because you know right here on the Black Alpha Network, by the way, I appreciate the pull up. Make sure you smash that like button before you leave. We breaking it down today. We chopping it up. We really getting to the real root and the real core. And at the same time, we're doing it with an insight of how we got to continue to keep pushing it. And we're also doing it with the insight of how we can prevail. Because we already winning, but let's stay winning. We already getting to the money. Let's get more money. We're already building. Let's continue to build. And if we do all those 3 things, that trifecta, the game is wrapped up, sold up. And this is where we're going, and that's where we put our emphasis on. And anytime we ever put our emphasis on something, we get it done. Y'all know when we're on code, we never lose. I did a video called The Code is Undefeated, because it is. The code is undefeated. When we are on code, we make it happen. We don't need a billion folk. We don't need none of that shit. We don't need all these new recruits. Don't need them. Quite frankly, don't want them. As they say, not all of us are going to make it. And I take it a step further and I say, not all of us are going to get the invite. So a lot of these coons and bootlicks, if they waiting for a fucking invitation to come in their mailbox, they're going to be waiting forever, because it's only going to the certifieds. This is a movement that is being led by certifieds. Certified Black Society, we are the ones on the front line. We are the innovators. All these new fresh ideas, these new fresh terminologies, these new fresh approaches, it is all being thrust upon by us. We are the ones creating it. Not a day goes by, I don't see a new certified putting it down. I mean, we are in the business world, the social world, the political world, all across the board, in every spectrum and every corridor of our society. Certified Blacks are putting in work. And that is why everybody is in that tailspin that we talk about. So when they start saying that they created this and they created that, we just laughing at them. That shit don't warrant a response, it just warrants a G-check, and we checking them. And they leave us no choice. Nobody does. Everybody comes with disrespect, so everybody gets G-check. That's the motto, and that's what we got to run with. And we've been G-checking a lot of people in this era, and it's just letting them know, hands off our culture. Hands off. And you know what gets me is, if these people are such great creators, they're such great innovators, so how come they haven't been able to duplicate any of that in their home countries? If you created all the things that foundational Black Americans created, if you came up with our culture, our lineage, all of our inventions, everybody takes what we've created and says it's theirs. Okay, then how come you couldn't do that at home? That's what I'm talking about. This is how you know they're stealing. Because it just so happens to be everywhere where they said they invented something happens to be somewhere where foundational Black Americans were there first. Ain't that a motherfucker? They've never been able to create something or claim that they created something when we're not around. When we're not present, they don't ever say they made up nothing. When we're not present, they don't ever claim they created. When we're not there, they don't ever say they innovated. Soon as we're in the building, then all of a sudden, all their innovations and creations come to life. How come they can't ever do it when foundational Black Americans are not around? Y'all couldn't do it at home. How come you can do it in our home? So you couldn't create it in your own house, but you can create in mine. Okay, so across the street in your household, you can't create nothing. But magically, mystically, when you come to my house, then all of a sudden, you know how to innovate. That sounds like bullshit. That sounds like You're taking what we created and trying to put your name tag on it. And we see through your ass from a mile away. Y'all better quit trying to game FBA. I don't know why they don't just go pick somebody else. Hasn't it been proven by now you can't run that con game on us? Y'all fucking with the wrong ones. Y'all know what I'm saying? You fucking with the wrong ones. They fucking with the wrong ones. That is exactly what they doing. They fucking with the wrong people. You better go pull that shit on the motherfuckers who will let that slide. Cause we don't. We've replaced the kumbaya with gatekeeping. We replaced the kumbaya with regulating. We replaced the kumbaya with G-checking. This is what is going on right now today. So anybody who thinks anything other than that is going to have a real rude awakening. And that's exactly what's happening. Them wake-up calls, man. Them wake-up calls is coming. So you see the whole apparatus at play. You see how we talk about the dominant society facilitates all these tethers. Because the dominant society, they know they can't handle us. So they try to go get all these little human shields to do it. They say, man, let's go get all these other motherfuckers who would do anything to be accepted by us. And let's get them to turn on foundational Black Americans. Little do they know that we can handle both of the motherfuckers at the same time. Same time. Boy, this shit easy work like a part-time job. Easy work. We do it. And we got statistics to prove the apparatus at play on how they try to bury us underneath all these people because they want to create a caste system. They try to have a caste system based on color, but they also want to create a caste system based on economics. People have to understand that when you deal with sociology and you deal with economics, in particular capitalism thrives off of an underclass. There has to be a permanent underclass. They will do anything to keep us from being an upper class. That's why brother Jason Black over at the TBA, he always speaks about our situation being social economic. And this is why they go to these lengths to stop us from getting reparations. They want to stop us from getting tangibles. They want to stop us from getting resources. But the thing they want to stop us from the most is getting that bag. They know when them dollars are in our hands, this era right here, they know that is dangerous to the whole system, the whole caste system that they've created. That underclass designation that they've tried to put on our shoulders, that will go away overnight. Black economics will change in a second, as soon as we get reparations. So we understand the push. We understand every blockade and hurdle that they're going to put in front of us. But it's on us. It's on us. Whether the future generations gets to reap the benefits from what we've created, it all depends on what we do right now. So all the bickering and the beefing and the petty shit, we ain't got time for that. Only thing we got time for right now is to get to the goddamn money. Is to get to the money. Because when you look at these statistics, how they're trying to pump and elevate the buffer class and the immigrants above us, I got some statistics. Oh yeah, we get down right here on the Black Alpha Network. Oh yeah, all the way certified salute to y'all, man. Y'all know how I do. This is real talk. Black Alpha 6. I'm gonna break it down. I did a comprehensive study, and this is an accumulation from a multitude of different political services and a bunch of different statistic databases. All thorough, all checked, all reviewed. You can check them up. Check out the Office of Immigration Statistics. Check out the U.S. Citizens and Immigration Services. Check out the yearbooks for immigration services. Check out Homeland Security. All of those are well-respected, solidified federal organizations or federally funded organizations. Now, when you compare the statistics of how the buffer class and the immigrant class is doing compared to foundational Black Americans, you're only left with one clear statement, and that is they're trying to be elevated above us. You see it. This right here is a Black Alpha Network exclusive, family. You're going to hear a lot of people break down the immigrant issue. You're going to hear a lot of people say the word tether. They're going to say the word buffer. They're going to say the word crowbar. You're going to hear a lot of that, but only right here on the Black Alpha Network am I going to provide you these statistics that give us a crystal clear frame of exactly how it's going. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And I did an analytical study to show everybody exactly the way things are playing out economically for foundational Black Americans. Check this out. The unemployment rate for foundational Black Americans per capita is 10.4. It hovers around 10.3. The unemployment rate for immigrants in America, 5.0. Drastic difference, a stark difference. Now let's talk about the median home income. For foundational Black Americans, it's about $39,000. When you start talking about immigrants, it's $54,913. This again is a collection of a multitude of different services in which I just previously stated, and it shows you the collective mathematical equations of how the immigrant buffer class tether society is being purposely elevated and purposely advanced over foundational Black Americans. And it's all being done in an orchestrated fashion. Now let's move on to what matters a lot, home ownership. Check out these rates, family. When you start talking, I'm gonna say it in reverse this time. When you start talking about home ownership for immigrants in this country, it is 53%. They're above average. When you start talking about home ownership for foundational Black Americans in this country, it is 47%. Once again, you see a gap You see a divide and you see an orchestrated effort. Now, let's dig into it a little deeper because I'm not just going to throw out a bunch of numbers and a bunch of words without giving the nuance. We're going to get into the nuance right here because on the Black Alpha Network, BAN, we're going to leave it fact check, true check, and we're going to hand out reality checks. When you start talking about the unemployment rate, you already see that foundational Black Americans are denied access to jobs. And this one is pretty simple. That's basically them just saying, y'all can't have the job because you're Black. And we'll come up with every single statistic and every single reason and excuse why y'all can't have it. But in reality, we're not going to give this job to the Black person. We're going to give this to the W. That's why whenever a Black man or Black woman changes their name on their job applications, their calls go back literally 700%. It is literally 700%, not 5, not 2, not 3, 700%. So if you take away a Black sounding name and you replace it with a Eurocentric name, all of a sudden your jobs go through the roof. It skyrockets. That's what happens. Now, when you start talking about immigrants or the buffer class or tether class, whenever they are presented with a job, they like to slide them right on through is because first off, they have high ranking jobs because they receive high ranking loans, which we're going to get to in a second. But not only do they receive the loans, they also receive the first dibs on the jobs because they're quick to come in and just slide by. This is exactly where they can place these buffer class above us. It can happen on the job force. So when people sit here and say, man, what kind of meeting is the dominant society having? I ain't never had no meeting like they all sit at one fucking big table and just plot and plan. No, they all do it strategically and it happens on the job force. If you disallow Black folks who are qualified to not receive a job, but you elevate someone who is not qualified at all, ain't even a goddamn citizen, but you give them the job, that right there is the plan, plot, and strategy that they're presented for. Now, let's go into home ownership. That's the one I really want to talk about. Because when you talk about home ownership, you clearly see that foundational Black Americans are the #1 group that is denied loans. They've done studies and have shown that foundational Black Americans who make greater money, have better credit, and have a better job history have been denied loans from banks that will give it to someone who is far less qualified. It's just they got the complexion for the protection. That has been getting done since the 60s and 70s. You can see statistics from the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. They literally have news reports that you can find on the internet right now from the 1980s about Black folks not receiving home loans. Straight up, literally, you'll see a Black person walk in, put their resume on the table, great credit, great job, finances, and they'll say, no. They'll walk right out that building, and then the W will walk right on in, and then they'll look at their shit and say, you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have that, but you got the loan. Here you go. Go pick it up on Wednesday. They do the same thing for the tether class. These tethers get all types of loans. A lot of people don't even understand that. So if you want to see how a group is elevated above us, look at who's being denied jobs and who's being granted jobs. Look at who's being denied loans and look who's being granted loans. The same way you can draw a direct correlation between the dominant society receiving loans above us and receiving job opportunities above us, you can see the same thing when it comes to the buffer class.
Most studies show illegal immigrants are a net consumer of taxpayer-funded government services, either because many don't pay income taxes or those who do get money back through tax credits. Now, because the economy is strong, roughly 75% do work, but more than half this year will still need welfare to get by. The latest Central American caravan numbers more than 6,000. Most arrive without a penny in their pocket. So how do they get by? Asylum seekers qualify for work permits. Others work under the table. But a majority also receive taxpayer-subsidized benefits.
When people claim asylum, they get work documents, they get a court date years later. They're eligible for a full panoply of benefits, state and local, and many federal.
Many federal benefits are supposed to be off limits. In practice, many are not. 25,000, according to HUD, receive subsidized housing. Also, 26 states offer state-funded benefits like cash assistance. 11 offer medical care. Others, like California, offer food stamps and disability. Because of their lower income, adults and their children are entitled to a host of programs. Some qualify legally as asylum seekers, others by using stolen identities.
Look at that. They're eligible for a plan of benefits, both local, state, and federal. God damn. Not to mention they get socially subsidized and they receive business loans and home loans at a higher rate than foundational Black Americans. That is all based on democratic strategy. They do all that shit by plan. That's why when they take to the television and they say immigrants built the country, that's just another way for them to facilitate this underclass designation for foundational black Americans. And the more we get closer to reparations, the more afraid they are, because they know when reparations is in our hand, all that bullshit they playing is done. They know that shit. You can put in every type of fucking plan you want, all that strategic bullshit they come up with, every buffer class, tether class. Once we get reparations, it's a wrap, because we out here doing it big without reparations. And they know that. And let me tell you something. You can go all the way back to the 1970s. They had to fight against black folks not getting loans. There was something called the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. And this was put in place directly to stop black folks from being denied loans. But just like everything else in this country, it doesn't matter if they put it on the books. It doesn't matter if it's a law. If the dominant society does not enforce it, it doesn't go through. So this law was never enforced, and this is why you still deal with discrimination, specific foundational black American discrimination and targeting in the business loan and the home loan sector. Now, they'll give you a student loan real fucking quick. They'll give you them PPP loans. Remember, they'll hand that shit out real quick. Anything that's predatory, where they can come back and get you ASAP, oh, they'll love it. But when you start talking about a business loan, which is going to replicate itself in the finances for our community, which we're going to circulate within our community, oh no, fuck that. They're not handing out that money. When you start talking about a home loan where we can build our own communities and live amongst each other, oh no, they're not giving out that money. But if they give you a predatory loan, they own your ass. They'll say, here, take it. That's why they cannot stop handing black folks money when it comes to PPP loans, because they'll come back tomorrow and arrest your ass. They don't mind giving you student debt loan because you got to pay that back, and they can hold it over your head for 50 fucking years. They'll always do that. But when it comes to things that are going to advance us, like a business, like home ownership, then they're like, hold on, let's give it to a tether. There was a book written. It might have been an essay, but it was called The Color of Money. And it directly broke down how they practice anti-black racism in the mortgage world, and how they directly target foundational black Americans with redlining, re-redlining, all types of new maneuvers that they come up with just to prevent foundational black Americans from achieving. And this came out in the 1980s. This has been known. This has been on the books. This has been framed. So anybody running around saying, we don't know yet, and let the facts come out, the facts have been there. It's no different than how affirmative action started off for black folks and somehow ended up supporting every other group. This is what they do. They take what's ours, they create a bridge that transmits everything from us over to everyone else. They're going to do that publicly, socially, or in the business world. The same way that these people run around and say how their people were enslaved as well, and that all compares. Or how they built the country like we did, and that all compares. The same way how they compare every single thing that we've done. They created hip hop like we did. The same line that they pull that shit with is the same line that goes on in this business world. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Black Alpha Network exclusive right here. We breaking down the real reasons why you got a buffer class. We're not just throwing out the word buffer. We breaking down the real reasons why you got a tether class. We ain't just throwing around the word tether. We're getting into the nuances of this shit. Understand, this is an actual structural system at play, and it is orchestrated by the dominant society, and every last one of these motherfuckers is complicit in it. This is why we got to understand, when we start talking about this anti-black race war, and we start talking about all these little minions who come after us, this ain't just a motherfucker running around trying to steal food off our plate and running. All right, it's way deeper than that. It's way more complex. And when we break it down and chop it up right here on the Black Alpha Network, I want the whole family to understand all the details of this shit. So anytime you're confronted or anytime you're in front of a motherfucker, you can drop them facts on them. What I say, fact check, truth check, reality check. And we handing them out to everybody. Let's throw G-check on that motherfucker too. G-check as well. So this is what we're doing, and everybody understands that it is a culture. And these type of things we're breaking down, this is why you have a culture of it. And that book I was talking about, The Color of Money, they went all the way into Atlanta and they started actually studying these people, basically going undercover and seeing all types of things beyond redlining, beyond reverse redlining. This is what ended up happening with Donald Trump. They were actually putting little marks on things. This is how dirty and petty they'll get. They were literally having black folks come in there to receive loans, and they was writing little red marks on it, basically saying no. The red mark meant no. If a black person comes in here, they just flash the little goddamn sign. Y'all know how they throw up them little supremacist hand signs? They was putting up supremacist signs saying, black family, bing, nope. And they said, oh, well, we deny it. This is how deep it gets. Whether they're getting into the redlining or the reverse redlining or all their predatory practices that they do, they're also getting into petty little gestures. Anything and everything so they can stop the social advancement of foundational black Americans. This is how dirty, dingy, and raggedy these motherfuckers is. And all the minions included. This is why we got to stay on our game. This is why we got to practice group economics like our brother Dr. Claude Anderson talks about. This is why we have to build. This is why we have to get the money and circulate it within the community. This is why we got to buy black, build black, and live black. This is how you combat all this petty shit. They get petty, we get real. They get off code, we get on code. They throw salt in the game, we stay on game. That's certified style, and this is how you get it. It's a code of conduct. We conduct ourselves in that fashion, we win every time. That's why we do say the code is undefeated. So I mean, look at it. It's simple mathematics. When somebody comes to another country with nothing in their pocket, how do they go above other citizens? Think about that. You come over here without a dollar, without a quarter. You come over here without a penny in your pocket. And then the next thing you know, you're being elevated above all these other groups. Damn right that's a play. Damn right that's a scheme, and damn right that's a plot. That shit don't happen by accident. They get loans and access to capital that foundational black Americans have been denied since day one. I remember watching Muhammad Ali speak one time, and he was talking about how black folks, even back in the 60s and 70s, couldn't get a loan to start any business. But somebody else will trot their ass in there and they'll just hand it to them. Because when it comes to the dominant society, that's best for business. And they make every single decision based on what's best for anti-black racism because they're in the business of anti-black racism. So if they're in the business of anti-black racism and we're living in an anti-black race war, then we have to practice black empowerment. Black empowerment is the way to go. Black empowerment is what gets things accomplished. And that's what we're all doing right now. So anybody running around here lying, hating, throwing dirt on our name is being regulated and is being gatekeeped. And that's the way we achieve what we are achieving as we speak in the present real time. People running around here saying they created hip hop. I know y'all seen that. I know y'all seen that. These motherfuckers running around saying they created hip hop. If you created hip hop, then how come you don't dominate hip hop? If you created breakdancing, how come you don't dominate breakdancing? Everything that they say they created, they don't even do anymore. If y'all created hip hop so much, how come you couldn't hold on to it? You know why? Because you didn't create it. Everyone knows that foundational black American culture created hip hop. You have black folks doing break dances back in the 1950s. You had black folks rapping back in the 1920s and 30s. Black folks have been rapping and putting game on records when records were first created. And then people come along and say, we created it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Remember this, and always lock this in. If somebody is trying to steal your culture, that means they're trying to erase your culture. And if they erase your culture, then they erase your people. Always keep that in mind when you see these culture vultures. And it's shameful, but that's what we expect. But what you can also expect is for foundational black Americans to continue to shine, foundational black Americans to continue to build, and foundational black Americans to continue being what we've always been since day one, and that is exceptional people. Yes, indeed. So as the whole world watches us, because we know they are, and the whole world mimics us because we know they are and have always been, we gonna keep on doing our motherfucking thing. So if they want our help, nah, I'm too busy being FBA. If you need us to come to your rally, nope, I'm too busy being FBA. If you need us to go to your march or help you pass some bill or whatever the fuck it is you think you got going on, do not expect us to show up because we are too busy being FBA. We protect our culture. We used to try to be civil with people. We used to try to be real and say, hey, y'all need some help? Cool, we got y'all. Because, you know, we cool until you cross that line. Well, everybody crossed that goddamn line. We gave them an inch and they took a tether mile. So we're going to have to reel this shit back the fuck in and say, no, this FBA. You see that tag on it? FBA. You see that mark on it? FBA. You see that name on it? FBA. You see that family tree? FBA. And you will RESPECT. FBA. No exceptions. All right, family, it's been good chopping it up with y'all as always. Man, we done roast the motherfuckers for a hot one. We gonna continue it too. As long as they keep coming with it, they gonna keep on getting it. As long as they step foot in our yard, we gonna keep on running their ass off the block. As long as they come to our court, we gonna keep running their ass out the pen. That's what we do, man. FBA all day. Shout out to all my B1s, Certified Black Society, BLACK. This is the Black Alpha Network. Make sure you guys smash that like button and leave a like before you leave. And make sure you share this video on all your platforms and social media, whatever you got. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. As long as we can keep on pushing that real FBA energy and let everybody know the Black Alpha Network is here to put it in. Black Alpha Network is here to stay, and Black Alpha Network will continue to bring that certified heat. I put that on everything, my word. But you guys stay real, stay safe, stay vigilant, look over your shoulders everywhere you guys go, protect yourself at all costs, because remember one thing, we are all we got, And what we got is better than everybody else. I put our culture up, I put our lineage up, I put our heritage up all the way to the top, and everybody else has to bow down. Facts on facts, man. I salute everybody, all the brothers, sisters, kings, queens, goddess, and gods. Catch you guys, everybody in the chat. One love. I love y'all with a passion. See you on the other side. And remember, black is beautiful, and beautiful is always black.